It's been a busy day around the fish cave already. I picked up some new fish, got a bunch of new stuff for some projects. It's a crazy time of year. If you guys are new since last football season, I'm also a huge Colts fan, so I'm still getting over the loss of Andrew Luck. But let's go check out the new fish, and I'll bring you along on some projects we got going on here. So I want to show off the new fish to you guys in a moment. They're actually floating. A little tub over there, they're floating to go in that 40 breeder. I picked up this at Lowe's, and a big shout out to my aunt. She's letting me borrow her Ford Focus. Yes, my 6'7" big bud is in a Ford Focus for the time being. I rolled my truck over earlier this month. Luckily, my friend and I were able to walk out wearing our seatbelts. Scary times, but you know, moving forward, going to be hard to lug around some of these bigger tanks. If I have to move like a 55 or something, maybe difficult in a Ford Focus. Luckily, Lowe's is like 300 feet from my house. So this thing is a 12-foot piece of polycarbonate greenhouse siding or whatever. If you can see over there, I've used it on this tank. It's also on the 125 Lake Tanganyika tank, which I'm going to do a video of. There used to be a bunch of South American cichlids. I rehomed those. But the reason why I bought this and I bought a 12-foot long one is because these 40 breeder tanks currently don't have tops. And normally I don't care, I'm breeding bristlenose plecos in these tanks, but I also want to breed mystery snails. And believe it or not, we got some purple ones in here, some blue ones down there, some magenta ones kind of going over here. And as you can see, I got some coverage on this tank a little bit, kind of like put together, hodgepodge. And that's because I noticed there's eggs in there somewhere. Right back there, there's a clutch of mystery snail eggs. And they need to stay moist. So they need to have kind of a cover. They need to stay above the water, out of the water, but staying humid and moist. So therefore, cheap tops, the polycarb. So we're gonna cut this into 4 sections, 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, hence why I got the 12-foot long section. Little side rant, I hate this. They sell 8-foot long ones and 12-foot long ones. The 8-foot long ones are 15 bucks. So the 12-foot long one shouldn't be twice as much, right? But it's 30 bucks, it's twice as much. And I couldn't get 2 8-foots because I needed the 3 feet, 3 feet. Anyway, I digress. Also picked up for the similar project some crushed coral. I also picked up some dog food too. I was able to actually trade in some plecos to a fish store and then bought the dog food, so that worked out. And actually did the same thing at another fish store with this crushed coral. Got cash actually, then just bought the stuff there when I was there. So crushed coral for a freshwater aquarium, that's right. Since I'm gonna be breeding these snails, I do frequent amount of water changes and my tap water is pretty hard. However, having some crushed coral will just kind of help stabilize things. So I'm going to add some crushed corals in a bunch of my tanks, to be honest. Even though I have fairly hard water, it should only dissolve as much as needed. So it's not going to turn my water into stone, so to speak. And then this dog food, like I said, I got to bring that inside. If you guys order plecos from me, typically what I do is, this is just some gentleman, I think Paul, so shout out Paul if you're watching. He had ordered some calico plecos. So I fast them. I pull them out of their main tank for a few days and I keep doing water changes and fast them from eating. That way, when I do get a chance to ship them, usually within 2 days, 3 days, they're not pooping in the bag. But let's get started with some of these projects. Gonna make up some bags and I'll explain the crushed coral. Do the same thing with the lids here, and then I'll show off these fish that I almost forgot about. These are some bristlenose plecos, surprise, surprise. Here, I'll bring them out. They've been slowly acclimating here. I just picked these up today. There's 5 of them. And these are the lemon blue-eyed 144A. However, they're long fins. So really excited to pick these guys up. I picked up 5. There's some different sizes. There's these 3 over here, which are a little smaller, and then these 2, which are a little larger. This one guy here has like some red in his fins. It's interesting. The breeder that I bought these from said that his line of long fin lemon blue-eyed actually comes from a line of long fin super reds somewhere in the lineage, not directly. So he said that is potentially from that, and that fish just has some super red in it. Not really sure. Let me know in the comment down below what you think. These other fish look great. It'd be cool if that's like a trait, if that's like a trait I could breed in with just kind of like these red trailers. That'd be interesting. But we'll see. I'm happy and excited to get these guys in the fish cave. The long fin, really kind of beautiful, like the flowing fins. But we'll grow these guys out and hopefully get them cranking too. So we have this pre-washed Atlantic crushed coral, and it says pre-washed, but it is powdery as all get out. So we're gonna have to rinse it a little bit at least. But my plan is to contain it in some of these bags. Kind of been hoarding up on these bags in different like tank haul trips. When I buy used tanks, I don't really run too many hang-on backs. I mean, I have a select few on a few tanks around here. I got an Aquaclear 110 over there, but don't really have much use for these bags until today. As you can see with this one, I kind of just did a little experiment. It's not perfect. Some of the little granules will fall out, but this way it'll allow me to kind of get an idea how much I'm putting in there and help keep it contained a little bit. My plan isn't to use it as like a substrate. I just am using it as a functional tool to kind of help buffer the tanks. We're going to be adding it to these 4 40 breeders, mainly because of the snails. You can see we got some mystery snails. They're getting big, and my water's fairly hard. So when I do water changes, I am adding back some minerals to the water. However, this, in my opinion, is just going to be like a safe bet, a buffer, a safety net, so to speak. We're going to also add some to these 2 pleco grow outs that also have some snails. The plan is to really breed these guys. The coral shouldn't negatively affect the plecos at all. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm not expecting any kind of adverse reaction. I'm just gonna wash this and add about, I'm thinking like 4 pounds in the 40 gallons and 5 pounds in the 55 gallons, something like that. This bag is about 2 pounds. So we'll see. I don't have a ton of bags. These are a little smaller. I got like 6 or 7 bags, maybe 8 bags. So we may have enough to do like 2 in each of these tanks for now. And then maybe I'll see how that goes and then do these. But let me make up some more bags, get them rinsed. And then after we tackle this project, I'm gonna cut up some lids too, because let me guys show you over here. We have a mystery snail in the process of actually laying eggs. So let me get over here. We got a dark-footed mystery snail who is on the glass there, popping eggs, one by one, sliding down her little snail body and onto the glass there. So definitely important that we get these lids on there, that we can successfully hatch out that clutch. But first, bagging the coral. We got the bags all made up. We ended up with 6 good bags that will hold the rock. Some are a little more, what's the word? More porous than others. The holes are bigger or smaller. I'm not sure all the brands, but I will tell you that the Seachem, the bag, this brand, this media bag, is actually the best for my purposes today, because you can see it's like a very fine mesh. So we're gonna make sure that like none of this stuff is gonna really get out. You see my hands are covered in the powder. Really need to wash this stuff. Some of the other bags, I'm not sure the brand, maybe it's on here. What does it say? Aqua Neat. Okay, so it's a larger, more porous, so definitely smaller ones are gonna fall out. Actually, it just opened up. So yeah, these are all secondhand bags, but regardless, it's closed a little weird. It's got a little zip tie, but it is resealable, it looks like. So actually maybe that's the best thing. All the other ones use zippers. There's all like different types, different shapes, and different things. I don't know, they're all used. Got those made up. I'm gonna rinse them. Probably should have rinsed them when they were loose. The big thing is when you're rinsing gravel or coral or anything, in the smaller sections, it's better. I actually have a strainer out here for that reason. I'll put it like in small little batches and rinse it with a strainer at a time, as opposed to like dumping this whole thing in a bucket and trying to rinse it out that way. It's a lot more effective to do it in the smaller batches. With this, we'll see how it works out. I'm gonna try and just take the hose and just kind of spray through there. I'm hoping it's, it'll be enough. Once again, I'm not putting these in my filter. I'm just gonna lay them kind of on the bottom of the tank. So they shouldn't really, they're not gonna be clouding up the water too much. I finished cutting out the first lid, and we're gonna see, these function well as lids for sure. I got one running on the 125 and on the 55 there, but the only thing I'm worried about here is obviously it's not like a super tight fitting lid. There is some areas for, you know, air exchange, what have you. I'm hoping that this keeps mystery snails in the tank because they can crawl out. And I'm also hoping it keeps it moist enough for these egg clutches. But we'll see. It's an experiment. Hopefully it does. If not, you know, I'll have to, you know, invest in some actual glass lids probably. But it stays pretty humid here in Florida, so I'm hoping it will suffice. My weapon of choice is just a pair of kitchen shears. I keep the old pair out here for garage and fish projects. It's not the prettiest thing cutting this stuff. There's probably other ways. I don't know if this is the best way. It gets the job done. I'm gonna keep on keeping on, and we'll cut a few more of these out. Like I said, we should get almost perfect 3 more to do all these 440 breeders. Forgot to update you guys on the crushed coral. As you can see, I put the bags in here, and I did rinse it a little bit, but it did still kind of smoke out a little bit. I put a bag. Well, I ended up putting 1 bag in each, and we'll see how it works, and we'll go from there. But just in a little experiment. Like I said, my snails seem to be pretty healthy, but I want to stay on top of it. Noticed a little bit potentially as they're growing big pretty quickly. Maybe a little bit of, like, you know, deficiencies, but still pretty healthy. Just want to stay on top of it before I notice, you know, some real pitting and whiteness and, you know, the signs that your snails are not super healthy. Let's get back to cutting these lids. Not that I'm an expert at this at all, but here's a little tip I use. I measure and then, like, draw a little marker line. It's also easier when you're cutting the longer piece. When I'm cutting up this way, I flip it and then cut from the other side. Instead of going all the way up here, it gets tough near halfway. So I go about halfway up, flip it back towards me, and then go halfway up, meet me in the middle. Just finished cutting the 4th one. I started using a little bit of a razor blade here. This worked pretty well for some of the cuts. I was able to kind of get a nice smooth cut on some of them. So maybe the combination of scissors and this, definitely get a brand new one. A sharp one's gonna help you a lot. And we got a few pieces of extras. I use these typically like on the back of those tanks. Sometimes I have like a killifish, like that's why you see there's like a bunch of stuff on top of that tank. There's some killifish in there, some wild caught golden top minnows. Actually, you can kind of see one hanging there right below the wood. That's the big chunky female. I use them like that just to kind of cover up any opening potential spots, just like this. So this is the last one. We're gonna remove all the temporary lids. We got 1, 2, 3. So looks like these magentas, I got these magentas around the same time as the purples, and I don't think we've gotten any clutches yet, but it looks like they're active. So hopefully we'll get some clutches here soon. I can't tell, maybe this one right here is actually gonna start laying a clutch soon. I don't know, but we'll let hopefully her get to business under the new lid. Really cool thing about these lids, if you never used them before, you can place lights right on top of them. They're made for like greenhouses, so they can withstand like a lot of heat, different temperature swings. Those lights on that 125 are literally laying kind of right on this poly plastic material. It's been a few weeks, and as you can see, the mystery snails have been super busy. I've actually had to kind of, you know, limit the amount of clutches I'm actually hatching because there are just clutches everywhere. These are those magenta guys, so clutch, 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 clutch. It's crazy. But there's blue mystery snails down there, dark-footed ones in here, magenta ones in there. So they'll be listed on the wildfishtanks.com website for sale soon. Gonna be really excited to offer these guys. To check out some more behind the scenes build videos, click right there. If you guys want to check out some more wild fish tank antics, click right there. I appreciate you guys watching as always, especially when you stay to the end of the video. It really helps out the channel. As always, stay positive and stay passionate.